Paragraph 3. The giant panda, a native of the remote mountainous regions of China, is a most unusual bear species. What would follow that? What's going to tell us why and how the giant panda is most unusual? S. Most other bear species have paws that are designed for running, stabbing, and scratching. Possible, that could be an introduction to a contrasting paragraph of how the panda doesn't, but let's keep going. R. The panda's paw is quite different. It has an overdeveloped bone jutting out like a thumb. Well, that could, and does look like a good follow-on sentence to S, but let's keep going because I'm not sure yet that S is the best first follow-on sentence to the main topic sentence. Q. The panda, on the other hand, subsists almost entirely on tender bamboo shoots. No, that's a more detailed sentence or example that would be later in the paragraph. T. For example, most other bears are hunters and gatherers that prey on smaller animals and forage for roots and berries. U. It is this thumb-like structure that permits the panda to grip bamboo shoots. Well, that's too detailed and further along. So T is the only other candidate to compete with S, really, for the first follow-on species. And let's see how T fits in front of S. The giant panda, a native of the remote mountainous region, is the most unusual bear species. For example, most other bears are hunters and gatherers that prey on smaller animals and forage for roots and berries. So this is giving an introductory example of how other bears are hunters and gatherers, and they prey on small animals. So I think that could be, or actually would be, better than S. Again, S is a similar idea, talking about most other bear species have paws, but that's more narrow and focused. They're talking just about paws. T is more generally talking about bears being hunters and gatherers and preying on smaller animals in general. So I think S probably is later in the paragraph as it narrows down to a more focused topic, the bear's paws. That would be my hunch. So let's take T and look for the follow-on sentence to that, which is likely going to tell us something about what the giant panda does for its food. It's obviously not a big hunter. Right there, Q, the panda, on the other hand, subsists almost entirely on tender bamboo shoots. That, between R, Q, and U, looks to be the best follow-on to T. So if T is telling us, for example, most other bears are hunters, Q says the panda, on the other hand, contrasting with that, on the other hand, subsists almost entirely on tender bamboo shoots. So now we're down to figure out what comes in order next, S, R, and U. And it looks like between them, S, most of the other bear species also have paws that are designed for running, stabbing, scratching. The panda's paw is quite different. It is thumb-like structure that permits the panda to grip bamboo shoots and strip them of their leaves. It looks like between those, it's possible, one thing I want to just check is U, with the mention of bamboo shoots, possibly follow Q next. On the other hand, the panda, on the other hand, subsists almost entirely on tender bamboo shoots. It is this thumb-like structure that permits the panda to grip bamboo shoots. No, even though we've got the same words, bamboo shoots, in Q and U, I don't think U follows Q because it doesn't make sense what this pronoun, this thumb-like structure, is referring to in sentence U if it were following Q, because no thumb-like structure was mentioned in T or Q. So that suggests it's going to follow, and that would put S as the best follow-on to Q. And we'll be introducing that more focused discussion of comparison or contrast between pandas and other bears. S says most other bear species also have paws that are designed for running, stabbing, and scratching. So again, also is another indicator that S follows T and Q. In other words, that idea that it's a similar structure, talking about other bears than the panda, other bears than the panda. It's more narrowly focused to the paws, and the also transition word suggests it comes after the first contrasting between other bears and the panda in T and Q. So, most bears have paws that are designed for running, stabbing, scratching. What would the pandas be? That would be the next follow-on. And it looks like R is the answer to that question. The panda's paw is quite different, contrasting again with S. It has an overdeveloped bone jutting out like a thumb below its 5 other claws. Now U makes a little more sense as our final follow-on sentence. It is this thumb-like structure, this being the bone jutting out below its 5 other claws. So it's this thumb-like structure that permits the panda to grip bamboo shoots and strip them of their leaves. So I like that follow-on sentence. So this is an interesting paragraph. I like our ordering. It's got a framework that is worth noting. The framework is, the main topic says the giant panda is an unusual bear species. So now we're going to see a comparison or a contrast between the giant panda and other ones to indicate why the giant panda is unusual. And it starts out with this contrasting TQ, contrasting that they're hunters and eating bamboo shoots, and then the same type of contrasting in SR, but it's talking about a slightly different topic or part of the bear, saying the paws. Most bears have these paws, yet the panda's paw is quite different in R. So they're analogous framework. Other bear, panda, and then finally the summation in U is this thumb-like structure allows the panda to grip bamboo shoots and strip them of their leaves. I like that ordering. Let's move on to paragraph 4. Paragraph 4. Most people would argue that it is impossible to tie a knot in the middle of a rope while holding both ends. What's the best follow-on sentence? T. However, you can easily, however is transition suggesting contrast, so that is probably not the first follow-on. How about R? With your arms folded, bend down and grip one end of the rope in your right hand, the other in your left, and simply unfold your arms and draw the ends of the rope in opposite directions. That sounds like it's a detailed example further down the paragraph showing you exactly how to tie a knot in the middle while holding both ends. Let's check Q. If you do this without letting go of the rope, it will automatically tie itself. Okay, that sounds like almost a concluding sentence, or it comes after R. Let's check U. Then fold your arms. Well, then it transitions. That's typically following immediately some other action. S. Hopefully that will be a good follow-on. Begin by laying a short piece of rope or cord straight out on a table. Okay, I like T best, our first sentence, as the follow-on, even better than S, because it's the contrast. Most people would say you can't tie a knot in the middle of a rope holding both ends. However, contrasting that, T says you can easily prove them wrong with one simple trick. And that simple trick begins with S, the sentence we just read, which is a good follow-on to T, because it's beginning the sequence of how, or an example of the sequence of the examples of how you would do that simple trick and prove them wrong. Begin by laying a short piece of rope or cord straight out on a table. Now we need to order that sequence in R, Q, and U properly here. R, with your arms folded, bend down and grip one end of the rope, or if you do this without letting go, it will automatically tie itself. Then fold your arms completely, making sure that one hand is below, elbow, and above. Looks like R is the best follow-on to S and makes sense in the sequence of how you would tie a rope while holding it with both hands. Begin by laying a short piece of rope or cord on a table. With your arms folded, bend down and grip one end of the rope in your right hand, the rope that you've laid out on a table, the other in your left. Simply unfold your arms and draw the ends of the rope in opposite directions. Actually, I think U in our sequencing makes more sense because U has to come before R. R, we're unfolding our arms, which means we had to fold them beforehand. And let's just check that that follows properly after S. Begin by taking a short piece of rope or cord straight out on a table. U. Then, after you've laid the rope on the table, fold your arms completely, making sure that one hand is below its opposite elbow and the other hand above. Okay, that makes sense. We're folding our arms first, and then with your arms folded in R as a follow-on to U, because we already folded them in U, bend down, grip one end, pull, unfold your arms, and draw the rope in opposite directions. If you do this, this refers to pulling the rope in opposite directions while you unfold your arms, I presume. Without letting go of the rope, it will automatically tie itself into a simple knot as your arms unfold. And that is the end of the sequence of telling how you can easily prove the topic sentence wrong and show that you can tie a knot while holding the rope on both ends. So I like the ordering we have here in paragraph 4. And by the way, you might want to give it a test because I just gave it a try after reading this paragraph. I wondered, does this really work? It sure does. Give it a shot. It's kind of cool. Let's move on to paragraph 5.